Um, so welcome in. We're Youth as Resources, YAR. This is our disability awareness training. I'm not sure if you know this about us, but we give just as a little elevator speech, we're a youth-led grant making organization. So we give grants to other youth-led organizations and projects around Baltimore City. Um, and we also do advocacy work, with our school police accountability work. We also do stuff around mental health, supporting efforts around youth homelessness, school climate, and this one, sorry, disability awareness and inclusion. I was really lost for a second. So next, I'm just these are our facilitators. I'm Kai or Ruben. You probably know a few other people here, but I'll let them introduce themselves as well.
My name is Kalia White. I'm a facilitator with YAR.
Tori Grace. I am secretary and task force manager at YAR.
Empress or Lorraine, you wanna? Okay.
Hi, I'm Lorraine Coleman. I am the chair of the board of directors. I'm also part of task force at YAR.
Hey everybody, my screen is actually breaking up right now, so I can't really hear if anybody's talking or not. I apologize if I interrupted.
She's having some internet issues. So that's Tempress.
Anybody,
I'm gonna go on. I hope
but my name.
oof. If she doesn't sort if that's not sorted by the time her part is, I guess I'll just take it. But for the agenda,
I'll take it.
okay. For the agenda today, I'm doing the hello and welcome now. Next, we're going to talk about the meaning of disability. We're going to go into person first language. Then we'll do learning barriers and behavioral strategies. And then we have a little, oh no, she left. A little activity around trauma triggers and coping strategies. And then we'll close out. So I'm going to pass it to Kylia for this slide.
Me, Kylie Lorraine.
Thank you, Ruben. I'm going to ask everybody to think about what disability means to you when you think about this word or see that word. And if y'all can, put it in the chat or come off mute your answers or your thoughts.
I guess it's just me. So I think my dad is disabled. And so, I kind of cringe about the word disability though, because I guess you're going to talk about person first language and stuff like that. But, sometimes disability feels like to me like a reaction, a word that I have a reaction to. Like, I'm like, maybe that's not the best word that we should use that really like fits the person's abilities that they do have. So that's my reaction to that word.
Right, I agree so much with you.
If you had, well, instead of using this word, what would you recommend using? Because you did just say you feel like it's like cringe.
I don't know. That's like a question that I don't have the answer to. Maybe you all have ideas. I've heard people say like different abilities or stuff like that, but sometimes that's just like harder. That's more words. So I don't know.
Well, I wanted to ask y'all a question. Well, can disabilities always be seen?
Nope.
What do you think the definition of disability is?
I think the definition of, there are things that in the status quo everybody can do, but that's not true. Everybody can't do those things. And so we usually think about the things that most people can do, but some people can't do as disabilities, maybe.
Mm. Well, your definition of disability is a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits and interferes with a person's ability to walk, hear, talk, and learn, or other major life activities. A disability may or may not be visible. A disability is natural and is an element of diversity. And what do you think stands out about this definition?
I think that last bullet point, the disability is natural and an element of diversity is.
Yeah, I like that point. That's
Yeah.
enough for me also. So I do think disability is natural.
Mhm.
I'm gonna pass it on to Tortor.
Okay. I guess you can call me that. So now is first language, which you did say we would talk about. We just wanted to talk about making sure you mention the person before you mention the disability. And emphasizing abilities, not limitations. Making sure you don't label people as a part of a disability group and not saying the disability, ensuring that you say people with disabilities. So just making sure you put the person first, literally. What we talking about. Don't give excessive praise or attention to a person with a disability and don't patronize them. And then choice and independence is an important thing. Letting the person speak for themselves as much as they can, as much as possible. And next is just a few phrases, one of which is correct and the rest are not. So I'm just going to ask you to point out the correct phrase.
I would say number 3.
Great. Now it's just time to correctly phrase number 1. You can say this out loud or you can like type it in the chat. But changing this so it's not like, well, changing this to put the person first.
So number 1 would be a person with epilepsy, right?
Yes.
And a person that is disabled.
Yes. And I wanna just throw out something like, say you didn't say a person with epilepsy, you said someone suffering from epilepsy. You wouldn't say suffering because like it's kind of harsh. Like they're not suffering, just living, you know. And I'll pass it to Ruben. That was my small piece.
Me again. So this is going fast. For our learning barriers and behavioral strategies piece, we have a little scenario here, and then I'm going to ask these follow-up questions. So for the scenario, Amir is in your class. He is throwing paper. You can pretend that you're either the student or the teacher, either one. He is throwing paper and refusing to participate in small group problem solving. And yesterday he was sleeping during class. So what do you think are some skills that he may be lagging based off of this description?
Some skills like in school, like the things that he might not be learning.
Yeah, so like the reason he may be doing all these things.
Oh, well, it sounds like he's probably not sleeping at home. So he's tired and coming into school. Sounds like there's a lot happening maybe at home or other things that might be going on that's impacting the way he's showing up to class.
Right. Okay, so you said he might not be sleeping. So my next question was, what might Amir need? I think the obvious answer would be sleep. But can you think of anything else that he might need?
Probably like a conversation to just be like, hey, like, with his teacher or something to get a better understanding about what's going on so that you could actually figure out what his needs are that he would say, um, to be able to get his sleep or to be able to focus on whatever we're supposed to be doing.
Right. Something I where was my head going? One sec.
You got it.
Something I was something I was thinking of when I read it was like maybe he's just not understanding the work. So he may need maybe some extra time or just a little extra help,
Yeah.
outside of class. And you kind of answered, but is there anything else you think you could do, whether your teacher or a peer, to help him out with this?
I think that as a peer is an interesting question. I wonder what you guys are thinking about that. Like if like would you go to your teacher and be like, hey, you need to talk to Amir? Like I think that's something like when I was a student in school and stuff like that, I was like whatever, there are things going on with my friends, but how do you talk about that with your teachers? That's an interesting question that you don't have to answer, but that's that's what that made me think of.
I think personally, I know a lot of people have like a lot of different ways of dealing with things. I don't think I would go to a teacher. I think I would just talk to them, just like a one-on-one outside of earshot with everybody else, like a friend talk, like, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? Are you okay? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just spend some time with them away from everything else. So what we just did, well, what you just did was identify lagging skills, unmet needs, and behavioral strategies to address those lagging skills and unmet needs. So here are our definitions of those three terms. Lagging skills are skills that you do not have or you need to improve on. Unmet needs are necessary things that you should be provided with but do not get, such as the sleep that Amir didn't have. And then behavioral strategies are things you can do to stop or improve the bad behavior, such as the talking to the teacher or the extra help or things like that. Tori said he may be hungry as well. Could be a reason he was sleeping in class, he didn't get breakfast or
Oh
something
yeah,
like
but
that.
yeah, we
Oh,
together.
yeah. Yeah. Is there anything you want to say about that? Any questions or?
Amir's a real person. That's in YAR, right?
He is. It's just
Okay.
name we use though. It's nothing
I
against
was gonna say, does
actual
he
Amir.
know?
We use our names and stuff a lot.
Fair.
I don't think Amir actually did that in class though. It's possible he fell asleep, but that's
I mean, it's okay.
Yeah. Next, I'm gonna pass it to Temperance for our traumas and triggers and coping strategies.
Thank you, Ruben. So, I know we only got one person in here, but would you mind reading the definitions? If not, I can read them for you.
Sure. I'll read. Want to take turns?
Okay.
Okay. Trauma is an emotional shock following a stressful event or injury, which may be associated with physical shock and sometimes lends to long-term anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Triggers are things that make you think or feel the way you thought you felt during the trauma. So that's something that occurs after the trauma. And do you want to read coping strategies or you or me?
Sure, I can. Coping
Okay.
strategies are things you can do to deal with that trauma or get through that moment when you are triggered.
Right. So if you can clearly tell, each one of these is different stages to the whole situation of the trauma triggers and coping strategies. They come right after another. If not, they might take a little time to move on to the next stage, but these are stages inside of the grief and everything that be going on. Um, is there any questions you got about one of the traumas, triggers, or coping strategies before we move to the next slide? Just definitions. Showing you. Okay, Ruben, can you move to the next slide, please, for me? So when it comes down to trauma, it's different stages and different varies of trauma. Right here, we're about to go through a couple of scenarios to help understand them better. When it comes down to emotional and mental trauma, um, let's see. It says Judy grew up with a stepmother who currently belittle her. What might triggers Judy, and what could she do about it? So,
You want me to answer that?
yes, you can answer it.
Okay. Probably something that would trigger Judy is other people belittling her, or people, maybe places where she's like trying to express her thoughts or something, but people aren't responding to them in positive ways, could be triggering.
Yeah, that can be a very traumatic part inside of her triggers. The part of her being treated very young. Let's say that, because belittling, that is a strong word, and I don't like to use it personally, so I can read it and everything. But when it comes down to it, yeah, I feel what you're saying right there. So, is there anything you think that Judy should do to help deal with that in a better manner, a better coping strategy for that?
Mm, I think probably it would be important to identify for herself where that's happening, and then hopefully be able to stand up to the people that she feels belittled to, if that is a safe thing, so that she can stick up for herself and make it so that she doesn't feel like that's happening in other relationships as well.
Right. I agree 100%. And also, I'm add on, since it's just me and you and the YAR members inside of here. I feel like she should try and her father, if that's the case, let them know how she feel and that she needs a little more respect, even though she's still a child. That can be something that is important for her as well. She wants a little more respect in her life. And I believe that is something that a lot of people feel as though is hard for them, because when it comes down to emotional and mental trauma, that's something that's going on mentally inside your brain, and not people can see it all the time. That's just how you feel about things that's getting treated in disrespectful manners, or manners to as though you feel as that it could have went in a better situation. So it's a lot of ways that she can cope with it, but for it to be actually effective, I feel like it's something that she should talk about and get off her chest, because it's going to be on her mind a lot. When it comes down to physical trauma, though, that's a different story. So we're about to move on to the next scenario, unless you got any questions about the first one and emotional trauma.
I'm good.
Okay. So physical trauma, here's it. It says, at 5 years old, Kai was in a car accident and he started school with leg braces and missing front teeth. What might trigger Kai, and what could he do?
I would say a trigger for him maybe would be, well, kids, even when they're young, can be mean. So, people making fun of him for his leg braces or his missing teeth. But also, I can imagine that maybe car rides would be triggering for him. And then something he could do is, hopefully gain confidence and be able to talk to people and work through some of that trauma um, within his community and things like that to get over things that, if he's scared of car rides, to work through that kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, I understand. I was going to say, I don't know if anybody can hear me or not because my screen just froze up not long ago, but I can still hear her talking. So I'm going to just go ahead and move forward. And I was about to ask because I heard what you were saying about the car accident and everything. So is this something that Kai can help do to help calm his nerves and make him feel a little better about the situation?
Probably, yeah. I'm not sure what those things would be for Kai, but hopefully he'd be able to work through and find some things that would be able to calm his nerves. It's different for different people, probably.
Right. So in Kai's case, his situation is a little different from Judy's because Judy, her trauma came from within and her own emotions and opinions and feelings. And on the other hand, Kai actually had to go through physical trauma, seeing him with missing teeth and braces on his leg, and they be thought like, what's wrong with him? That's something that a lot of people don't. Y'all can hear me?
It's uh, it's a little wonky.
I'm sorry about my connection. About to get through this though. As I was saying though, Kai's trauma coming from within the outside of his own emotions and everything, Benz, though a lot of people can actually see what's wrong with him. They don't, a lot of people don't take in consideration of what actually happened. And that's a really important thing to take in consideration because you don't know what actually could happen to that person. And that person, like he have his own traumatic experiences with that stuff. Those people don't know that. So they can make fun of whatever they want. And it can really cause somebody to be hurt to as though coping strategies will not help. And it can get worse in a situation. And I heard you say that it's not really something that you can consider a coping strategy because you don't really know exactly how to fix a situation like that because it's visible. But in a way, it can be some things that help make Kai feel better, like going to therapy or having friends that actually like him for who he is. It's the little stuff that can be considered as coping strategies that can count as well. And last but not least, okay, hold on. So spiritual trauma is a whole nother level. So Harvey is gay and he attended a church where the pastor consistently preaches that gay people are an abomination and is going to hell. What might trigger Harvey and what can he do to help?
I would say for that situation, kind of more like I guess similar to all of them, there's lots of internalized, probably hatred and sorts of things that you have to work through to get to a place where you can love yourself and really feel confident in your identity and um, uh, those sorts of things. So I think similar to the rest, um, he probably should surround himself with other people that are affirming of his identity. And maybe he would need to find a, break down some of his um, ideas that he got from church. Maybe if he still wants to be spiritual or go to church, find a different pastor or a different church that would affirm his identity, and also friends as well, and therapy, I guess.
I agree 100%. And I like how you just answered both of the questions in one, two birds with one stone. And that is basically, you just wrapped everything up. Uh, a lot of people in the world feel this way. And I was just having a conversation about this spiritual trauma with my girlfriend, actually. And I told her the same thing. Basically, yeah, he's feeling hurt because he feel like he's rejected, and it's not even something that's on the inside, that's in his mind, and it's nothing that's on the outside that people can witness. It's like something in between, to as though, I'm sorry, go have a seat, Bun. Have a seat. But back to what I was saying. It's just something, the spiritual trauma is to as though it's beyond mental and emotional trauma, and but it's not at physically trauma, because it's something that you can't see or touch, but it's something that you cannot explain, because like in religion, everybody expects everybody to be in a certain way formed by God, but God made everybody in different images and stuff. So that's something that you got to take time and cope with yourself about. You got to learn how to love yourself, love what you love, and love what you do. And that's probably one of the most hardest traumas to get over with, because being as though it's not nothing you can just talk about and express, or nothing that you can just change your appearance and it can be acceptable, because it's not there. And coping strategies, like you said, going to a different church, talking to different people, accepting yourself, loving yourself, taking care of yourself, figuring out what you want in life, stuff like that is a really good coping strategy for when it comes down to spiritually trauma. So yeah, we went through all of these instead of one, because it's only one person in here and it's no point of telling you to just choose one and we can run through there. But I really appreciate you talking to me about this and explaining, sharing out, giving your opinions. And if you don't have any questions, comments, or concerns, we can move on to the next thing with Ruben.
Ruben, I can't hear you.
Sorry. So this is our conclusion. We just want to close out our training session with the question, what are some things you would change when working with those or dealing with those with disabilities as a result of this session?
Um, I guess that's a question that I have for you guys. Like, are you guys able to do this training with, have you been able to do it with teachers and stuff like that? Because I feel like they need it. And so that's the thing that I would change. But that's not really on you all or anything. Just like being able to think these things through is really important, I think. So, yeah.
To answer your question, we have done it with teachers in the past. I know, remember like maybe in 2017 or 2018, we did like a whole professional development day at one school. It was like 4 sessions back to back. We've done them with some um other adults, like in where was it? Bon Secours Hospital. We really much give it wherever it's asked. Like, we don't
Mhm.
discriminate who we give it to. Wherever we can get it out is where we do it. We probably should look into doing it again for teachers. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I know it's just like so interesting. So I work for the Choice Program and I'm the education coordinator. And so I'm trying to build partnerships in high schools. And so it's like really interesting to think about like how IEPs are dealt with and stuff like that. And sometimes not dealt with in good ways in high school, in all schools, but high schools too.
Right. That's kind of why we started this work, because we
Mhm.
the statistics on students with disabilities was brought to us, and we were just like, that ain't right, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for that. Before we leave,
Thank you guys.
I do want to just point out that, as I mentioned earlier, we give out grants to other youth organizations, projects, and some businesses. This is our flyer. If you want, I can send it to you to share out to anyone you think who may be interested in getting a grant from us. The grants range from $500 to $5,000, and we hold these workshops for those applying for grants. It's required for those to attend at least one, so that they can apply. We've got 3 dates here. If you know any youth that want to attend, it's the workshop and the grants are only for youth, so 23 and under. So if you know any that would like to attend, please feel free to share.
Cool.
And then
I'll
we've
try and
also
get
got, oh, should I go back?
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay.
I said I'll try and get the word out about
Oh,
those.
thank you. And then we also have our social media plugs here if you feel like following us there.
Yeah, I'll follow you guys on Instagram.
Thank
I don't have
you.
anything.
Tori's really adamant about following people back, so she'll do it.
Thanks, Tori.
We just made our Twitter.
Okay, I don't have Twitter. I'm lame.
I was just throwing that out. But our Instagram, yeah, I'll make sure I follow you back. I'll follow you back on Twitter, but I'm just letting you know we don't have a lot going on up there. And I couldn't tell you which Facebook to add. Youth as.
The first one,
Yes.
Yeah,
Because
I'll
it's
make sure to
weird.
edit that.
we have
but we have a
two.
little more action on these guys.
Okay, that is.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for your feedback as well.
Thank you for coming. We
Thanks
Yeah,
for doing
be a
this.
few more people.
Yeah, it's okay. This was awesome. So thank you.
Thank you.
All
We'll
right.
see you soon, but have
Yeah,
a
see
good
you
day.
later.
Is there a lot of people at the conference, Julie asked?
I honestly have no idea. You mean at the Healing City thing?
Yeah.
I can't tell because I can't tell how many participants are in the things, except for, I mean, I've only been to one other one of this type of thing, and that one was small too.
Oh.
Small.
Oh.
But they have those big ones with Zeke Cohen, and I can't tell how many people are in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you been to any of the others? Anybody here?
No,
Okay.
you might go
Are you
next.
gonna
I'm
be on
gonna
the
make a.
floor?
Oh yes. Are you going to be at police or schools at 4?
They asked if you're gonna be at police free schools.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
She's chairing the meeting actually.
You chairing the meetings now?
No.
Oh. Oh, you were lying.
So is compulsive lying a disability that's unseen?
Like, yeah. Oh yeah, I had a joke, but I had to save it because I was like,
Oh, I have a joke too.
for the scenarios, I was like, why don't we just ask Amir and Kyle what they need?
My guy's right there, but he turned off his video, so I don't know.
So I have a question for you.
What's up? Is that Julie? Who is it?
Yeah, it's just
Oh.
Julie.
You know, do you know why you're supposed to knock on the refrigerator door before you open it?
No, I don't do that.
It's a dad joke.
No, I don't know. Cause what?
Oh no.
She said you should because salad dressing.
There might be a salad dressing.
Oh, that's
One of
so
our students
dumb.
at Augusta Phil told it yesterday, and I guess she loved it.
I do was the highlight of my day.
No. You a thief.
The person's not impressed by that joke.
Oh God. He's like, no, I don't do that. Yeah, because normal people just would knock on the refrigerator while before they open it.
Right.
I'll
Right.
mess with salad in my fridge.
Alrighty, we'll
All
see y'all
right. See you guys
later.
later.
Bye. Thank
Thank
y'all
you.
for
See
helping.
y'all.
Thank you.
Mariah,
Bye.
stop taking it.
That
We
went
did well for
well.
one person.
We did. I'm glad it didn't like feel awkward the whole time.
Yeah, it was like a
killing Mariah.
conversation.
I'm killing
Yeah.
Mariah.
Yeah, y'all did it, so, y'all sounded great. in this.
Now we sound great.
All
Now,
right, I gotta go.
I got
Bye.
my BSF from over
see
there.
you
Amazon.
No.
Should I end it for all?
if you want. Sure.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Tori, you never came over my house before, but I've been over.